Hello, welcome to the Healing Hearth. My name is Elizabeth. I have Gomez here right beside me, and we are here to give you a collective reading for the weekend ahead, that is January 21st through the 23rd of 2022. Now, if you happen upon this video and it is not that day or time at all, don't you worry. Time is a construct. There's no mistakes, there's only divine time, right? So I'm sure there's a message in here for you. I am so happy to set the sacred container to do a reading, to take a pulse, to see what our highest self, our ancestors, our angels, our spirit guides, our spirit team wants us to know for our highest and best good, for all those involved, all of us watching this video here. I set the intention that we only bring in the highest and the best, most loving messages in the highest good, highest vibration, and this is to raise our collective energy, right? We're in the middle of this love revolution here, right? Where everyone's starting to awaken to there's a little bit more than what reality was sold to us previously, and as we all awaken, we can feel a little lost and feel that the world is a little ambiguous right now. So I'm offering the services, my services, through these collective videos, which are free 99. I also offer one-on-one tarot readings, tarot sessions through my website, healinghearth.net, as well as written tarot reports if our schedules don't mesh, where it's a 2 to 3 page written tarot report that I email to you within 48 hours of receiving your questions and your money. So with that, I'm so happy to be here to be of service with you today. I'm feeling really energized. I'm feeling really excited. I'd love to get into it with you. If you wouldn't mind just grounding your energy alongside me, feet on the ground if possible. If not, no biggie. Just imagine it, visualize it in your mind. And we'll take a deep breath in and let it go. We thank Mother Earth Gaia for being here, for hosting us on this beautiful earth, for this beautiful human experience, for your ever-present loving guidance, support, and wisdom. I place all of us in this beautiful sacred container full of white light, surrounded by a gold and silver edged aura. This is a space of clear, beautiful intentions, built in integrity, in honesty, in compassion, in loving wisdom. We release any self-doubt, self-betrayal, negative entities, ambiguity, confusion, distractions. We release them at this time. We release envy and jealousy. They are not welcome here. We only look for inspiration and wisdom. I ask that all the angels, the spirit guides, the ancestors, the archangels, Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael, are here and present. They just popped up in my mind's eye. We ask that the power animals be present. I'm seeing a koala today. And we ask that only the highest, the best message made available at this time, or something better, is relayed in this message. Please, Spirit, allow me to be a clear and divine channel to deliver the most up-to-date, the highest vibrational message that anyone watching may need to know at this time, or something better. Oh, thank you. Okay, so the koala, let's talk koalas. Koalas are like really cuddly. I know that they actually eat eucalyptus, which I believe is toxic, but they have a special digestive system that can actually break down and digest eucalyptus so that it's nutritious for their being. And what I'm getting from that is kind of like what's good for the goose isn't always what's good for the gander, right? It's kind of like having to use your own individual discernment and not to go along with the crowd. Don't be afraid to forge your own path. If something you find that worked for others, or worked for your family, or worked for your friends, worked for your colleagues, doesn't work for you, there's nothing wrong with you. Don't look at this through a lens of I don't belong. It's more of a like, what's for you is different than those you surround yourself with. And I think that diversity in what serves us really in the past, and what we're visually seeing now is it can cause division because we as humanity, in our survivalist nature, in our survival mode, we're actually trying to label everything, right? I think sorry, excuse the noise with the dog. There's, oh, I lost my train of thought. What's good for the goose isn't always what's good for the gander. What serves us might be different than what serves others. And in survivalist mode, we tend to label things in order to give us an illusion of safety, right? It's that herd mentality, that like primitive animal kingdom brain training, fear-based ideas that we've been conditioned to follow for so long. But it's important to remember that this is an illusion and not actually the truth. Right? The illusion is just a certain, like, one lane perception, like seeing one through one lens. And when you try different things, when you separate from the norm or what other people are doing, it widens your view on the world, and it ends up really illuminating people, things, and opportunities your colleagues wouldn't consider. And that's a beautiful thing. The diversity in your experience, the diversity in your life experience actually puts you in this place of being a major role model, because not only do you share that widened view with your soul tribe, but you also set as an example that you can go out and do your own thing and be an individual, and nothing bad happens, right? You're just you, right? And I think there's something to be said about like the polarity in our differences. Like we have a lot of polarities and contradictions within us. We can be multiple things at once. Like, I think I said in a previous video, it's like, yeah, someone is extroverted, but they might still enjoy their like alone time. So like their alone time, if caught in those moments, they might be labeled as introversion. And I think it's important to just like drop the judgment. No one is one thing, you know. We have all these beautiful contradictions inside of us that make us these unique, beautiful characters, protagonists of our own story, that offers us all these opportunities. But if we get stuck in labels, if we get stuck in like, this is the one path and this is how it goes, that's only us standing in our own way of our own potential, right? Anyway, that was a cool message. Let's see what we gotta know for the weekend ahead. All right, Eight of Pentacles as our signifier. So Eight of Pentacles is really about working skills. It's about refining who we are. And I think this is where the adventurous of trying something new, it's like you're starting to build something from scratch, and you're realizing that the work and the consistency that you put in really, really matters. You're seeing that you have more influence over your thoughts and your own limitations than you realized. And I think that that's going to empower you to, you know, follow your dreams more. Is like the more you put in the work, the more you put in the consistency of showing up, of being diligent, of being faithful to your craft, of faithful to your you know, like if your relationship has been going through a rocky phase and you and your partner both agree that we want to work on it, it takes both people consistently to show up, to be open, to be honest, to be in a place of integrity in order to make that relationship work. It takes the work. Things don't get fixed overnight. I mean, a shift of perception is good, but it only takes you so far. Like, words are nice, but where's the action to back it up, right? So that's when the Page of Pentacles and the King of Wands, both in the reverse, come up as our challenge. It's kind of like being open to learning a new way of operating isn't comfortable for you. Like, I feel like you've been very stuck in your ways for a while, and it's kind of put you in this place of like, well, I know what's best and I'm not going to listen to other people. Kind of like an asshole, like, I'm the king, roar, come at me. I'm also noticing the chameleon, so it's like you might have been changing yourself, like masking yourself for your environment to serve best. Excuse me. The floors are too slippery for him, so he doesn't have the traction to actually jump up on chairs. It's cute, but distracting. And our invitation here, we have the Sun card. This is about inner child. This is allowing us to play. It doesn't mean that we can't show up and we can't follow through with our actions, but it means that when we have the Sun card, it's this beautiful yes opportunity. Like, yes, you're on the right path. You might feel young, you might feel inexperienced, because operating in this way of working on a new skill, working on a new perspective, working on this old relationship, or working in this new relationship, in this new dynamic, it might seem scary and it might feel uncomfortable. And Gomez, I am busy. And it might feel like uncomfortable, and it might put us in this position where we find ourselves triggered and challenged in new ways because we haven't shown up in this way before. But the Sun card tells me, like, it's all good. You're doing great. It's okay to be a little shaky on a new path. It's okay to not be your most confident when you're trying on new clothes, right? You're finding what fits and you're working with it, and you're learning your new ways of I feel like this is like very passion, like this is very action. It's like you're not reacting or acting in ways that you did in the past, or that the people that you surround yourself are used to you operating. So it might be a little bit of a newsflash, but I don't get the sense that this is bad. It's just like a change of pace, and you're just adjusting. What's for you will adjust around you. And like this new chapter that you're moving into, this really exciting light-filled chapter, it's gonna throw some other people off, but I just don't even get the sense that you're worried about them. I feel like this is very much like, not existential crisis, but a little existential of like, oh wow, I can really be whoever the hell I want to be. Congratulations. I just wanted this one. Oh my god, the Fool card. The Fool card came out! Yeah, it's all good, man. You can like take that leap of faith. You can trust that the path you were guided on, that little voice in your head that's like, let's try things this way. Even though your ego might be upset, and even though you're like a little shaky because you're not really confident in the way that things are going, because you've never seen them unfold in this new way. It's like a totally shift in perspective, and you're just trusting. You're just trusting, well, you know, I had this inspired thought and I'm following through, and I'm following through with this consistency. And it's just like you're being invited to just like enjoy this newness, like enjoy playing with this new feeling, enjoy like bask in it, bask in the newness, because you haven't, you're kind of stuck in this like survive, and I feel it like in my back, like a lot of tension of, you know, things are meant to be this way, like very regimented, but like instead you're being invited to like walk into this without expectation. Just be like, you know what, I had this idea and I'm gonna follow through and just see where it fucking takes me. And I think that that's where a lot of the excitement's gonna come through. We have the Queen of Cups in the reverse, so it's this energy of like stuck, like you're not really flowing with it yet. And I get the sense that that's kind of the ego temper tantrum, right? Because water, the cups, is like the sign of emotion, right? And it's like our feelings are not fact, they are just our internal weather climate, right? Things pass, things move on. 5 of Cups in reverse. You're realizing that this has more value than you realized. Like when you had this inspired idea to try things a new way, it's almost as if everything you were afraid of losing just evolved. You're like, oh wait, I don't need that. I have a new perspective. 5 of Swords. You don't need to prepare or do anything when you step into that higher vibration, because I feel like a lot of this is being the bigger person, right? And being the bigger person and also preparing for the worst don't really mesh. As I say that, I feel attacked. So I'm sorry if some of you feel attacked, because I am definitely that way of like, or I was that way. I'm working on it. I'm working on myself. I'm healing myself. As I step through my own healing journey, I'm realizing that I don't need to think of every worst case scenario in order to prepare for potential rejection or, fear of lack mentality, that there's not enough, that I won't be enough. I'm learning as I go through this healing journey that like everything you need is really there for you. Like what's for you won't miss you, right? And the ego gets in tantrum about this, right? The sun is like the big ego card, right? So is like King of Wands. King of Wands is kind of like a dick a little bit. There's Page of Cups is like being like asked to open your mind, open your heart to this new way, and when you're open and you're learning, we have a lot of young cards, right? We have the 2 pages and we have the Sun and the Fool, right? Which is all like about that youth, like it can come off as like immaturity. So you might have some people around you, surrounding you in your friend group, in your family circle, like maybe some siblings, like that are just kind of like jabbing fun because you're different, and instead of connecting with their own feeling of you changing and them actually looking at themselves and being like, well, what the fuck is wrong with me if they're leveling up and leaving me behind? It's like that almost immature reaction of like, let me poke fun at this person, let me find your insecurities. But with the Fool, it's like, don't pay them any fucking mind. Like this chick, she has earbuds in. She's not even listening to it. She's just going on doing her damn thing. The Star card in the reverse. You're realizing the divinity that you bring to the table. You're realizing the energy that you add to your dynamics, to your relationships with your friends, with your family, and you're seeing how that, the invaluability of that, right? Because as your inner world changes, your outer world will change. It's just like put in the consistency and trust in it. It will come, right? 8 of Pentacles. It's like Rome isn't built in a day. It takes dedication. It takes rewiring of how you think. It takes noticing with loving awareness your triggers about what makes you go back to those old habits, that old way, that old script in your head, and noticing with loving awareness that that's what's going on. And honestly, sometimes when you just are like, I'm open to noticing it, that's where a lot of it heals, because you'll be like, oh, that's not a big deal, and you'll find yourself able to respond and not react as a result. I want to do one more message because I feel like we have some diversity, and this one feels a little bit more nervous. We got the Queen of Swords in the reverse as the signifier. Someone's not speaking their truth. Someone is or some people, no one's alone, right? This is collective energy, right? So we feel like we're going through things alone, and that's just like a form of dislocation, of ostracizing us. But the truth is we're all unique, but we're all kind of going through something similar. So whatever you're going through, someone can relate. If you need to speak to a therapist about it, to get a third party, I am sure they will tell you you are not the first person with this fear to speak your truth. This fear to speak your truth. I feel like this is like mother wounds. Like when you were growing up, you would say one thing and you were kind of shut down in a certain way. And now you're learning to like reparent yourself. We got the King of Pentacles here, so this might be a work thing, like speaking up in a professional manner. 8 of Pentacles, and working on your skills, showing up in the way. Okay, so these boundaries, right? These boundaries that you're learning to build, you're realizing that you have more power, but you don't really have the confidence in speaking that into reality yet. Yeah, I feel like this is solar plexus. Don't worry about it. With practice, it'll get better. Hanged one, the Hanged Man, right? Look at it from a different perspective. It's kind of like surrendering to what is. Just because you don't say the truth doesn't mean the truth doesn't exist. There can be multiple truths at once, and it's like when we speak our truth, when we stand in our authenticity, our most authentic, our highest vibration, and we say what's on our hearts without blame. It's like if someone comes to you and says, I don't know, something insensitive, right? And you go back and be like, listen, when you said this, it made me feel this. I'm not asking you to change. I'm not asking you to do anything about it. Like, you don't need to make it up to me. I'm just letting you know how I feel. It allows the other person the opportunity to kind of step up and be a little bit, to work with you and to honor you. If they don't, that's fine, but it's like surrendering to that. And I know that that triggers a lot of people, because someone just got really, really nervous about that, because there's like a fear of abandonment. Like, if I show up as myself, if I say what I really mean, people are going to reject me, people are going to leave me, I'm not going to have the loving support that I currently have. And it's like, is it really loving support if you're not being yourself? Sorry. Two of Cups. This, if you come from a place of compassion and honesty, just like, this is how I feel, you don't need to do anything about it, I just want you to know. That's going to give other people the opportunity, and I think you're going to be surprised, because you are very loved, you are very supported, but they can't support you if you're not being authentic in what you need, if you're not asking for what you need, right? If you're not saying it as it is. Two of Cups. Two of Cups is like also like partnership. So this might be like being a little bit more honest with a partner, right? Eight of Swords. And yeah, and you feel a little like, I don't know, they're a little immature, they're not going to take it so well. Well, if they don't take it well, if they reject you for being honest, for being yourself, then maybe they don't deserve to sit at your table. How about that? Maybe instead of pining to be at their table, it's like, is this even where I fucking want to be? Five of Wands. You're having a lot of fights about this in your mind. It's like you're going over and over these worst case scenarios. These like, oh my God, how are they going to take it? And it's just like, can you get out of your head and just like say what's on your heart already? I think that that's going to help everyone involved. Everyone. Right? And it's also giving other people a chance to process their own karma. Queen of Wands. It's like, it's time for you to enjoy life to the fullest. It's time for you to like, be like, you know what? This is what makes me happy. Being this way, showing up in this way, and being honest and being authentic, it's just gonna like totally shift your perspective that you're a lot more accepted and loved than you think. Because the ego mind is kind of like, well, I need to see it, but how can you see love? Like, we go into love languages, but like, can you really see love? No, it's a feeling. So the ego mind is going to trick you out of it, to pull you out of it and be like, no, you're the weirdo. Like if they're not showing up if I'm not seeing it right now, it can't change. That's not true. It requires communication, and it requires, you know, speaking your heart, speaking from your heart, speaking from like what inspires you, what bothers you, what you need to get off your chest. And I think that part of that, of like realizing that your truth is just as valid as anyone else's, is having the loving respect of being like, you know what, this life I want to enjoy to the fullest. I don't want to be walking on eggshells. I don't want to be fighting people in my head. It wastes my own time, it wastes my own energy. I'm done. Underlying, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So it's like, when you're saying your truths, you don't need to be rash or fast. Like, you might take your time, you might need some introspection to like look at, is this really how I feel? And like, not why do I feel that way, but like, this is how I feel. And it's, you have to, because when we get into like why we feel certain ways, we tend to get into the blame game and more into the judgments. But if we can just observe our feelings and just let them be just that, like, I'm not, oh, I'm pissed because she said da 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 da. Instead, you're just like, I feel angry. I feel unheard. That's such a different vibe. That's something you can work with. That's a shadow you can integrate. Because when you say, I'm pissed because she just talked over me that, or he talked over me that whole meeting and da 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 da, that means that the solution to healing that wound, that feeling of unheard, is now outside of you. It's someone else's responsibility. And if you're not saying how you feel in the first place, like, people are their own protagonists. They are not looking at you the same way you are looking at you, just like you are not looking at them the same way they are looking at them, right? So sometimes it just takes that honesty to be like, you know what, I feel unheard. I feel unloved. I don't need you to do anything. I don't need you to change. I just want you to know. That's something totally different. That's something totally different. That sparks compassion. That doesn't spark defensiveness. I felt like, oh no. Oh, they're over here. I felt like pulling from the Moonology Oracle deck today. We had a pretty intense Cancer full moon on Monday, November 17th. Cancer really, the moon really likes to be in Cancer. It's very like water sign, being open to intuition, open to our emotions, and we might still be feeling that like that emotional release in through the weekend, especially if like you're conditioned to like not deal with your emotions till you have free time. Like they might be coming up, but you're just like rejecting them and like pushing them under the carpet a little bit. Not a judgment, just an observation. It's okay. I love you. Don't worry. Alright, let's see what the Moonology deck has. I'm gonna do like 2 more shuffles. Nothing comes out. I'm moving on. Okay, there we go. Surrender to the divine. And on the bottom you are very close to achieving your goal. This is the eight of Pentacles. And the surrender to the divine, show the world the real you. Show up authentically. What do you have to lose? You're already selling yourself short now anyway. You know, you might as well just like be yourself and let your external world change around you. Whatever you're working on, that skill that you're working on, it's definitely going to pay off. And like I said, it takes consistency and it takes honesty and it takes integrity to show up in the way that you want to show up in the future. It's like, it's kind of like the dress for the job you want and showing up to work in a suit and tie. I mean, like, I want to be CEO, shit like that. Not that linear, like, hierarchical thinking that's like really antiquated, but you understand the metaphor I'm using, right? It's like showing up in the way that you hope to show up in the future, and then the world will just adjust around you. Surrender to the divine. Trust that any actions that you need to take, any changes you need to make will come to you in inspired ideas through messages like this one, or maybe you know, messages from friends, loved ones, colleagues, close soul tribe members, or maybe even just like a stranger. Like you find yourself in the grocery store, your goal is to eat better, right? And you're working on that New Year's resolution to eat healthier and to work out, and you're in the grocery store and you're looking at the produce aisle like, I don't know what the fuck I want. And someone's like, oh, you know what? I just got these kohlrabies and they were really good last week and I'm gonna make them in this recipe, stuff like that. Don't know why I picked kohlrabi. That might just be like a divine message for you, that you just need more of that food in your life, something like that, you know? Or maybe it'll inspire a really great, it might be your new favorite flavor and you don't know it yet because you haven't tried it. All right, how can we manifest our greatness this weekend? I feel like crying now. Someone really has to emotionally release like an external perception of who they were. Like you want to show up in this new way, but it's like a fear, and I feel like this is like a parent wound. Now I'm getting like father wounds though, and I feel like I showed up in this way that was valuable to and like respected by my family, by the male authority figures in my life, but I'm just tired. I don't want to show up in that way anymore. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like me, because it's not you, because it's from somebody else, right? It's okay. It's okay. And I'm sorry you're going through this, you know, but the only people we have to live with really is ourselves. And no one's going to stand up for us if we don't stand up for ourselves. To be hidden and sad and and lonely and scared, it's okay. Sit with it and let it pass. It will change. Things will change. Things change every day. Change is the only constant in this world. I trust you. Trust me. Trust me. And I'm here with you. If you need any help guiding through this, book with me. Seriously, I'm pretty great. But I relate. I empathize. I really do. Okay, so manifesting our greatness. Music is what you need. Leave room for whimsy. This is very sun card, right? It's like, allow yourself to play in this newness, you know? And we have, you can build any kind of life you want. What have I been saying? And on the bottom, it's like, stay the course, keep with it, keep with it, keep with that diligence. If you need a break from your internal dialogue, turn on some music that distracts you. If you can't read with music on, put on classical, put on jazz. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's good. Jazz is not as bad as people think it is. It's all different. And yet it's all the same. Kind of like people. Kind of like clouds. All right, and let's see how we can take care of ourselves this weekend. Like, what do our souls need to take care of ourselves, to find comfort when we need a little TLC? Someone's gonna get a good shower cry in. Okay, that one's at me. You know, when I read for the collective, people don't really like to talk about it, but it's like also reading yourself, because you are part of this collective that you're creating. And these messages come up and I'm like, yeah, I do need to clean my fucking house. Clean your space. Cleaning your space is, if you need to, what helps me is I reframe it into, like, cleaning is also cleansing, right? It's cleansing the energy. It's allowing the stuck energy to, like, be released and to be free. A clear mind means a clear house means a clear mind, right? That's why minimalism is so big right now. It's just another form of mindfulness, if you think about it, and like what you truly value. Family, we have hang tight with family, and we have burning bowl ritual. So I think this goes along with that surrender to the divine and the hanged man, right? So we also have energy work. That one calls to me. Some people might be getting like Reiki treatments to like release some of those stuck blockages, or maybe like crystalline DNA healing. I'm reading this book called The Gene Keys, which is crystalline DNA energy healing, so that's really cool. Recommend if anyone's looking for a book. Burning bowl ritual, it's like the things you have to let go, like these negative perceptions, these fears. You know, sometimes it helps if you just like write down something that you're ready to release, that you're tired of thinking of, that like a perception or a rudimented habit that you're tired of being, to just you know, like write it on a bay leaf and light it on fire in a fire safe environment, on a fire safe dish or cauldron or abalone shell, whatever you do, and just, you know, speak intention into the flame. That's like, I'm ready to let this go. I surrender this to the divine. I realize it is no longer in my highest and best interest. I'm ready to release this, right? And this might be like how your family perceives you, or just other people's opinions in general. Like, I'm ready to release living from other people's perspectives, and I am ready to embody living from my own perspective. And with that, I think that's it, folks. I think that's it. I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to hold this space with you. I want to bless every single person that is watching this. I release all the masters, teachers, angels, ancestors, spirit guides, spirit teams, archangels that have filled the space, and I thank you for your wisdom, for allowing me to channel the message for everyone's highest and best good. Bless everyone's modes of transportations, their homes, their pets, their loved ones, their family, and each one of them, so that they may embody the highest and best good for them at this time. Ashe. Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, give me a little like, give me a little comment. I love to read your comments and hear how this resonated with you. And as I said, if you're interested in working with me, you can book through my website, healinghearth.net. I have some promotions going for your first reading with me, 25% off using the code HEAL, HEAL 2022, and our first reading you get 25% off. Also, there's a promotion for the written tarot reports, which I call Love Notes. So if you use the promo code Love Notes at checkout, you get $10 off, which that's also a good deal considering. So highly recommend, and thank you for allowing me to hold space, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future.